Hi, welcome back to Go Tolerant. Can you hear the babies? Oh, now they've stopped. They'll start it. Can you hear them? I hope you can. I'm not sure if you can, but her babies are screaming for her. Oh, I didn't take your collar off. We should take your collar off. Do you think you can not escape this time? I know you don't love this, but let's try not to. So, up on the stand today, guys, we have Miss Wren. Actually, she's Soul Oars Wee Wren, W-E-E Wren. And she is getting ready to go to the show with us. So this is her second bath and her third grooming session in 2 weeks. She is not enjoying it anymore, and I don't blame her. But the good news, sorry about the head in the way, is she's so much easier to manage and deal with than the other two goats. She had, well, one, she's smaller. Two, she has a lot less cashmere. In fact, she has none. So all that work and pre-work that I did with her means that we get to jump pretty much straight into bathing, get her good and wet. Now, I'm on marathon session, so if you notice that I'm already wet and dirty, the answer is yes, I'm already wet and dirty. I have done 2 goats already today, both of which took just under an hour. Wren should take significantly less time than that, thankfully. And I still have 1 more to go, and that will be her baby Voodoo. Voodoo did not get a brush out or anything. He doesn't really have enough coat to brush out. He's going to the show as not even a 2-month-old little baby buckling. So, you know, he's not expected to have a huge coat, but he should still be as clean as possible. And so he's going to get a bath. And if he's anything like his dad, Phineas, he's not going to like that very much. By the time you see this video, you will already have seen that session because I do plan on posting that one off schedule and live. Otherwise, if you're watching us, this is a Saturday morning grooming video. I do these videos, multiple goats on a day. So you are not seeing them in real time, which means that we talk about kind of more fun things instead of always the current events. Right? Because like I said, I'm going to be bathing her son next, and you will have already seen that video before you see this video, unless you missed it, in which case go back and check it out. I cannot imagine it's going to be anything less than entertaining. So what I'm doing here is we're rebathing and reconditioning and just really kind of doing the perfectionist pass on all of the goats that are going to the show with me. Wren is going to the show because her son is going to be in the show, and we're going to get some judges' feedback. She is not actually registered to be in the show. I've made the determination a few weeks ago that, you know, despite the fact that I love her to death, she's just not up to the standard that I would expect to see in the show ring for the goats her age. But she has to come because Voodoo is still nursing, and that means she's coming, and so is Voodoo's sister. Voodoo is her son, our baby buckling. And the nice thing about that, you know, from an extra bonus perspective is that I might be able to get some judges' feedback, not just on the baby buckling, but sort of the baby buckling in conjunction with her. Now, Dad is a master champion, right? There's no question about that quality. There's no question about his genetics. But if you watched my last video and saw that I had gotten questions about why I'm so mean and make the goats jammed up against the headrest and use this terrible chain to hold them in and really make them miserable, well, now you know that I don't, okay? I don't. It's not tight enough that they're miserable. They can escape. They clearly do escape. It's there for their safety, for my ease. It's not a discomfort thing for them. They've got plenty of room, and she will probably escape again. And if you saw me grooming her last year when she was younger and more ornery, it was even worse. I actually had to put the collar back on her and not use the head halter at all and just have her kind of hanging at the end of the collar, which made it much more difficult for me to groom her. So I'm moving quickly because, again, she doesn't have the most patience in the world for grooming. And she certainly, no goats like baths, period. They just don't. So the quicker I can get her on and off the stand, the better. And that goes back to what I was going to answer before I got distracted by her great escape, is if she's not going to be in the show and she's not going to be judged and she's not going to be put in the ring, why am I going through all this Hazarai, right, 3 times to prep her to perfection? And the answer really is an easy one. If she's traveling to the show with me and I'm bringing her child or son to put in the show with me and she's coming along, she needs to be in show condition, right? I may be able to sometimes. It's not always possible to get a judge to talk to you after the show is done, because a lot of times, they don't get paid a whole lot, to be honest with you, for the amount of time that they spend doing this. And a lot of times, they finish their job and they want to go home. It's their weekend too. They usually have animals, right? So sometimes getting a judge to sort of talk to you after the show, and you cannot talk to a judge before show. Yes, I'm sure there are people that do it. No, it's completely inappropriate. It's completely inappropriate for multiple reasons, not the least of which being you don't want to bias the judge accidentally before your animals go into the ring, right? If you're trying to get some advanced assessment of your animals, it's a little bit, I know. It's a little bit, I know. Oi, hold on. Gotta finish this first and then I can finish my thought. Now I have soap all over me up to my elbows. Awesome. It's a little bit like cheating, right? It's like getting a couple of the answers before the test, or, networking with all the professors before your oral exam, and then they're voting because they've talked to you, they know you, they like you. Do I think our judges are doing that? Of course not. They wouldn't be judges if not. But they're also human beings. And it's impossible for a human being to not come with some bias, right? That's just the way it is. And so you don't want to inadvertently manipulate that bias by having a conversation with the judge about your animals before your animals have been in the ring. Once they're done, that's the best time, right? If you can grab a judge after the show and talk to them and get, Wren, you're killing me. If you can grab a judge, talk to them, get some direct feedback that's not relevant to the show, right? And that is specific to your animal. I know, we're not going to stop, right? Like, you've learned this lesson before. You're just going to make it as difficult as possible. I know. But I really need you to try and stay in the restraint just for another few minutes, girlfriend. Okay? I know. So, yes, I do hope that at some point during the show, I might be able to tap into a judge who's feeling a bit benevolent, take that person, he, she, whomever, over to where my goats are in their holding stalls. And she's just not going to be cooperative today at all, are you? Okay, well, we've been through this drill before. And it doesn't make it any more fun for you. It just makes it much more difficult for me. Now, come on. I know. I know. This just makes it a whole lot harder for Mom. So, for the record, guys, again, anybody that's looking at this and thinking, oh my God, you're hurting your goat. No, I am not hurting my goat. What I'm doing now, look at how much slack she has on this. And she still has a ton of slack here, and she's got all this room here. She's not harnessed in any way, shape, or form. But what I'm trying to do is get this done so I can get her off the stand and back to her babies rather than continue to fight with her. So really driving the point home that I was trying to make, which is, despite the fact that I really don't need to have her in perfect, pristine show condition, I believe it's important to do it if I'm going to ask a judge to take a look at her son and possibly even take a look at her in relation to him. Why is she dancing on her back end? You guys have seen that before, but just in case, let me mention, she is nursing 2 babies. So she has an udder that is full of milk. She is sensitive back there because they are nursing. If you've ever breastfed, you might understand the feeling. If you haven't, and I have not, but I can imagine what it might feel like when you have 6-week-old twins nursing. So she is sensitive back there. Am I hurting her? No. Does she want to be touched? No. And she happens to be a goat that is completely uncooperative when it comes to bathing. Comically, so is Phineas, who is Voodoo's dad. So Voodoo should be a hoot and a holler to groom. Here's the thing, though. I mean, Wren is a little over 2 years old now, 2.5, I guess. And she has been groomed a lot. A lot, right? She's been groomed. She's been bathed. This is not new. It's not a new experience for her. She's just a pain in the rear end about it. She's a bit ornery. Now, I would call it my one nod to the fact that she's not actually going in the show ring is I'm not going to drown her head. I washed her head last time, so she doesn't need that again. And because I'm not going to do her head, we can finish her side up right now, do the other side, and get her off the stand back to her babies, which is all she really wants. All right, none of this hurts her. In fact, it really, technically, if you've ever had somebody brush your hair, it should feel good. These are soft bristle brushes. They are rounded points and tips, right? They're not intended to hurt the animal in any way, shape, or form. And I would bet if she would just settle down, she would enjoy it. But I don't think she's ever going to. Maybe when she's like 9 or 10, she'll settle down. She's my challenge goat. Of course, we added her to our herd because of her personality, right? So she was actually, we purchased her. Yes, I know, you managed to get loose again. But now you're trapped with the collar, so there's not much you can do. There's always, where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm the human, so I got that will figured out. So part of the reason that we ended up purchasing her, we purchased her at a show, had no intention of purchasing her. In fact, we went to purchase a completely different goat that we had seen online. I had researched the genetics on. I really enjoyed or liked the potential genetics that would bring to the herd. And I thought it would be a perfect addition. Beautiful little white, solid white doeling. And unfortunately, because we don't get to the show early, right? I can't get there days early. I have a job. So we get there the night before the show starts, and many of the exhibitors are there a day, 2 days before, and they're doing all this prep work while they're there at the fairgrounds. The unfortunate part is the doeling that we thought we wanted, we went there to see, was already sold. And good on the person who got that doeling, because she is a rock star in the ring. She's small like Wren. She's solid white. Her coat hit the floor before she was a year old. She has zero undercoat, very similar to Wren. She's amazing, right? But not to be. And that is okay, right? We did not need to walk home with a goat. We were perfectly fine that we had done our research. This was the goat we wanted. It was no longer available. Well, then we wait until next year and we try again, right? We don't just randomly add an animal to the herd without having done the research until we saw Wren. Isn't that right? Because Wren's personality is such that we couldn't resist her. She was a baby at the time. She was insistent that she not be confined into a stall. She escaped, I think, 6 dozen times during the day and a half of the show. She had no problem wandering around the showgrounds, going to visit everybody, just personality plus. And if you've seen our videos with her, she's exactly that, right? She is personality plus. Yeah, I've got you stuck. So part of that personality plus is dealing with the fact that she does not like to be groomed. But she is done, and now I'm going to attempt to do her baby boy. And I hope that video actually I have hair all over me. That video takes, and it's out already, and that you've had a chance to see it. Thank you. Yes, you're going to pee. You're going to pee and kiss me at the same time. That's lovely. And I think that's the second goat that has ended our show with a nice big urination. So enjoy that. And until next time, there's work to be done. Bye for now.